Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. And I'm going to continue in my discussion of the journey of the soul, according to William Butler Yeats. Today I have come to Moon Phase 15. We're beginning a new chapter, a new climb up the Kabbalah, the tree of life, having finished one whole quarter here, one whole hemisphere here. We've come to the Magus, beauty. This is the unified mind. Yeats calls it unity of being. This is the door of from perfection into action, and this is a serene, calm, still trance. These people, once they've achieved perfection, they like to sit in it for a while. And so that is the condition of Moon Phase 15. It's also called peace. But this unity of being is still new. It's tender, it's delicate, and it needs firmed up. But before that unity can be consolidated, 15 must reclaim any parts of himself that are outside of that unity. He must fully own the mask. And for now, for 15, the mask is over here at 1. And for looking at your horoscope, the will is the ascendant and the mask is the descendant. And owning that mask is absolutely essential for success. Owning your own descendant, the powers of the descendant, are essential for your own success in life. And so that's what Moon Phase 15 is doing now. It's reclaiming anything that, all its parts. And until all those parts are reclaimed, anything that's outside that unity, anything that is part of that person that is not incorporated into its ability to act, then Moon Phase 15 will still remain emotionally vulnerable to the world, to outer situations. The world will take them over. The world will own them. 15 is capable of a great deal of moral brutality and hatred. If 15 is still reacting emotionally to the world, his imagination will not be trustworthy. He'll live in fear and hatred. He fears to be alone because he has terrible dreams, and he needs solitude to resolve this issue of incorporating all of his parts, all of his planets, all of his powers into his abilities. So the daemon will cause some crisis and force 15 into solitude and make him face his own terrible images that come to him in the dreams are those images that are generated by his own hate. In that solitude, the daemon will give him a vision, and it will be a vision of the damage that he can do. It will be a vision of evil, and this is a warning from the daemon. This is to strengthen Moon Phase 15. This image will be remembered in the subconscious for the rest of the cycle, because it is a warning of the damage that the soul, the entity, can do, and the damage to the soul that can be done by misuse of their powers. So this will open 15 up into a release of grief, and then he will be able to rest in his perfection. This is a growing objectivity. The practical solar mind and the dreaming lunar mind are united. The lunar mind, those fluid reflective powers, have been perfected by emotional discipline. Emotional discipline was what began here at 9, actually at 8, hopefully, at 9, and control of the emotions is what this water quarter is about. But we have entered the air quarter, and the water, the lunar mind, the subconscious mind, which has been brought to consciousness here. They are together now. They are working together. But the lunar mind is to now give way to the will. The will is to, the solar mind is to guide that, and to gain in objectivity, as the lunar mind just gives information. It's the emotions now virtually are gauging, judging the world for truth, and so that 15 and from now on, these people will be able to tell. Their emotions tell them what is going on out, if they're in control of their emotions. And to become in control of their emotions, and to gain objectivity and the power over their emotions, is the goal of the air quarter. Sorry. So, okay, so we've gone from a seeking of inner truth to expressing that inner truth. The first quarter here perfected the new physical power. The second quarter, it perfected the creative powers, the subconscious, the imagination, the imagination, as Blake said, is the tool of God. And so what's going to happen here is the creation of a unique intellect in the air quarter. So this is a still state of perfection up here at moon phase 15. And the I Ching has, I think it might be hexagram 63. It's called After Completion. And after completion, things slowly start to fall apart. And what 15 has to do is to maintain his integrity as things start to fall apart. Maintain that integrity, maintain that unity, maintain his powers that he's worked so hard to gain. So what has to happen before he can make the launch himself into this quarter, be willing to be born into moon phase 16, is a new desire must grow. Old desire, that desire that perfected this being that stands here in beauty, that desire is used up. And a new desire, a desire really for power, because these are the people that are into power. It is power, amongst other people, is a product of our intellect, our ability to think and communicate. So what happens here, he's in a state of perfection, and desire, the very word, implies that you lack something. And 15 does not feel he lacks anything. He is, he's reached the heights. And so while he's waiting for desire to grow, there's a struggle to maintain that inner balance. We've got Libra over here. And he must maintain that, Libra, and not fall out of his unity, and not fall away from his own ideal. He's worked hard to create that ideal person. And now, while he's, the world is shifting under his feet, but he must, until some desire to do something out in the world, to explore the world, to go after his own abilities, to express his own abilities, to grow in power, he's going to have to get bored, virtually. This new will is objectivity and the new desire. he's going to have to stay constant and true to himself, and strengthen his inner harmony. That's important. That Moon Phase 15, do any work, get strong, just live in the life, dance along, until you're strong in yourself, and because it's like I say, this is a delicate new will. He's just come out of the darkness, and this is the dawn. And so he needs a certain amount of time in his life just to become secure in his self, secure in his own emotions and his own mind. So while he's dancing in place, I keep referring to the dancing, and this is one of the cards of Moon Phase 15. This one is called the Universe. I have one that's called the World. Another one, same thing. But it's look, dancing in place without losing all that he has gained. Meanwhile, he's getting stronger and stronger, strengthening that inner harmony that he's developed, and that will make him impervious to the world. And he needs to be impervious to the world. The body of fate over here holds all he needs, but he has to reject any over here is opportunity. It's the descendant. And so what the will has to do here is to reject any experience that isn't of the right quality, that does not meet his ideals. He must maintain his dance in his state of perfection. Oh, and right choices. Like I say, as he makes those right choices, as he holds to his ideal self, maintains his unity, those right choices will bring him into luck. I mean, it will be a charmed life. All he has to do is stick to that ideal. Love of his own nature. It's time for that love of his own nature to start be redirected out into the world. And because he must love mankind before he can recognize what he wants to do in it. He must love mankind. And love, this is, Libra is, Venus is the planet of love. Libra is of loving one another. Leo is of loving yourself. Excuse me while I have a sip of water. So love has been the goal of the first half. Wisdom gained through the use of his power is the goal of the second half. Now, our Moon Phase 15 is as a lonely person. We've gotten lonelier and lonelier as you move through, more and more solitary as you move through the water quarter. And 15 is alone and needs to be, because he needs to maintain that inner integrity. Where am I here? Okay. Yeah, he's separated and solitary. It's to maintain his self-awareness, to get strong in his unity and self-awareness, he needs to maintain that distance between him and other people. And so a lonely 15 is a more functional 15. All his relationships and all his actions must conform to that ideal. He's got a glorious imagination. The imagination is just grown in beauty as you move through the water quarter. And these people are, they're perfect, perfection of body, and the mind is complete. And the perfection of intellect is what is happening next. These people relate to others as equals. That's the nice thing about being in Libra over there. They're kind, and fairly aloof, even though very willing for relationship. But they need to maintain that solitude, that apartness. This is where 15 has got to. This is the magician. Let me show you. This is, you will recognize the Kabbalah of the Golden Dawn, the snake upon the tree. And we've come to the Magus. He's at the height. He have climbed up the tree, step by step, until he reached unity. This, the Magus is the house, and it is the house of the mind. It is Mercury. It's also eternal longing. I like that. I still haven't quite figured out. Sometimes I know what that means. Anyway, there's the Magus. This is the Weight Magus. This is the Golden Dawn Magus. You can see why I prefer the Weight Magus. The Weight Magus, that staff there he's holding, that's a wand. That wand there is, he is a channel of God's will. And that's what that wand means. Notice the symbol of eternity above his head. This one also is a symbol of eternity above his head. It's his hands. I mean, what are you grabbing there, dude? So anyway, here we've got Mercury. Now, Mercury is the free traveler through all realms. He's the messenger between the gods and man. So, this is the house for spirit. We've built a house for spirit. It is the mind. Okay, and here, and so that is the height. Now, what 15 has to do is what 1 had to do, was to be willing to come down here, to take his perfection, and march it off into the world and experience whatever. So, whoops, that's the backside. Anyway, this is the backside of the Golden Dawn card. This is the front side of the universe, or the world. This is joyously doing the will of God. This is the door to discovery of personal power. This is also a struggle to maintain integrity. She's dancing in space. The world is moving around her. She is balance. Okay, I've got here a moon phase 15. So moon phase 15, we've got Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss, Judy Garland, Andrew Jackson, Sung Myung Moon. I actually knew a Moonie. I liked him really well. Thomas Merton, Red Skelton. You may not be old enough to remember Red Skelton, but he was a sweetheart and a funny man. Much like what I thought Bill Cosby wanted to be. So this is Michael Jackson. Our ascendant here is ruled by Mars, which is ruled by Venus, which is ruled by the Sun, which is ruled by Mercury, and fortunately, the Sun and Mercury are in mutual reception. Yay. So, and it's the same old go around and around with the midheaven, which is in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, which is in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, which is ruled by Venus, which is ruled by the Sun, which is ruled by Mercury, which is... Anyway, Michael's got, he's got a grand trine in fire. A grand trine in fire. And that Aries ascendant and is... he was a typical Aries ascendant. He was fiery, he was slender and active, and the Sun-Pluto conjunction in Virgo is also gives you a small person, a delicate person, and he was an incredible talent. That Sun conjunct Pluto makes him obsessive and hardworking, the Virgo there. The Neptune is in an interesting aspect to the ascendant. It's a 165-degree aspect, which Noel Till calls a quindecile. And it doesn't make sense. The word doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know what to call it. But anyway, it's a aspect of great tenacity, doggedness. And so our boy Michael here was a hard-working young man. He incredibly talented, of course. He's got the Venus is in a quintile, the talent aspect, division of the world by 5, to Jupiter, Venus quintile to Jupiter, and the Jupiter's got a quintile to the midheaven. So Venus, Jupiter, midheaven are all connected there. And the Venus is conjunct Uranus in Leo. And so this is a really unusual talent. And he's capable of bringing new stuff in, and he was incredibly inventive. Notice the Chiron up there in the 11th house is in Aquarius. And it's in opposition to the Venus-Uranus conjunction there. And that's alienation. Alienation. And he was not comfortable with this. He should have been. I mean, it takes a certain amount of alienation for Moon Phase 15 to function properly. They need solitude. He didn't like solitude. He wasn't used to it, for one thing. But he was alienated and lonely, as is typical of Moon Phase 15. So that Sun, Pluto on the 6th, made him really sensitive to the world, and so I was thinking about the trouble he got into. You know, he became very, very rich and didn't know what to do with it, so he built virtually a circus environment, invited all these kids to come, and got in trouble because it just doesn't look good, just doesn't right. I don't, this is an South Node in Aries right there on the ascendant. This is Puer Eternus, the Peter Pan of the world. And that North Node over there in Libra is, say, grow up, grow up. But he never grew up. He never grew up. He did not own that mask fully, which would have helped him to stay alive, to appreciate himself, to love himself. He didn't feel like he fit in, and he wanted to fit in. The ascendant is got a sesquiquadrate to Pluto, and that's one of the divisions by 8. It's 3/8. That Pluto's at 2 Virgo. This is a waning sesquiquadrate, and so what that tends to have is crisis in relationship. And that's a strong need to express oneself in relationship, to be in relationship. But he was pretty much stuck with the relationships. What he wanted to make for was like Donald Trump does, wanted to make up for childhood losses. And what losses Michael Jackson had in childhood was childhood. Trump just lost appreciation and feeling loved, but Michael lost childhood, and so he wanted to make up for it. And so I don't believe that his dealings with the children were nefarious or damaging. They were damaging to Michael, but I don't think they were damaging to the children. The medical issues he had, that Sun, Pluto, in Virgo in the 6th house. This is Placidus. Now, if you used the Koch houses, that Sun, Pluto would be in the 5th house, but it'd still be on the cusp of the 6th, so you might as well read it in the 6th. That 8th, his 8th house is Scorpio, so that's ruled by Mars and Pluto, and they're ruled by, when talking about his death here, this is the death house, and his death is ruled by Mars and Pluto, and the Mars is in Sag, ruled by Jupiter and Neptune in the 7th. So what he did is he misplaced his faith. Instead of having faith in himself and who he was and what he could do, he misplaced his faith in doctors and one specific doctor, which eventually did him in. But so I was concerned because, you know, this is a phase of beauty. And here we've got Michael Jackson. And I thought he was beautiful. He was just a complete person as he was. He was a beautiful soul. Okay, and we've also got Judy Garland. And neither Michael Jackson nor Judy Garland appreciated themselves. They did not truly own their mask. They did not know that they were their own desired object. So when it comes to Michael Jackson and his appearance, I wondered about that. There's a lot in here. He did not like being alienated. He did not like feeling different, and that Venus is conjunct. It's 4 degrees off, but it's still a workable conjunction with Uranus, and he did not want to be different. He wanted to be a leader. And but he didn't want to be different. That's Aquarius. Aquarius enjoys being different. But his Aquarius has got Chiron in it, and he's wounded by his difference. So, and as far as his appearance goes, his Saturn, which is his father up there on, like Trump, or like who was it? Oh, like Prince Charles. We've got a father ruling this deciding what this young man is going to do, and not the mother. The mother's over there in Pisces. Michael Jackson's mother's in Pisces in the 12th house. So, and he should have spent a lot more time with the mother. Solitude. Spent more time taking care of himself, and he wouldn't have needed these doctors. So, but the Father rules that midheaven, and that Saturn is at a contra-parallel to Pluto, and and that Pluto is pretty much identifying our Michael here. That it looking like his father, it disempowered him somehow. He did not want to look like his father. That it's not in conjunction. Sorry, it's a contra-parallel. You understand you need to use declination, because it's nice to look on it here in 2 dimensions. But if you look at that 3rd dimension, things all of a sudden while they can get more complex, they also get more clear. Because, for instance, Michael's Venus and his Uranus are in parallel, and that's like a conjunction. And here they are in the 2 dimensions. They are conjunct. So this really tightens this connection between the Venus and the Uranus, making it exceedingly, exceedingly important. And he really, really wanted to be a leader in his looks, not only in his incredible creativity, but in his looks. And so that was Michael Jackson. He was beautiful. I think it's sad that he went so early, but maybe when you get done, you get done. He did not own his descendant very well. He did not own that beautiful Jupiter conjunct Neptune, conjunct the North Node. He did not thoroughly own that, and if he had owned that, I think he would still be alive. So, let's put this back up. Okay. So we've walked into the air quarter here. So we're building a whole new thing here. We're building a structure of a grail that will be filled with spirit in the fourth quarter, turning it into a holy grail. So next time we'll leap off into the quarter, into moon phase 16, where the energy of the Demogorgon on the air level is dumped into moon phase 16, and they do everything they can not to go nuts. So see you soon. Bye-bye.